How y'all doing, man? This is Seth here, business and spiritual consultant, as always. Lucifer's out here doing some work. He's out there working. So, yeah. So anyway, but I am the one and only. I am Lucifer. Uh, you know, but hey, I just had to do it. My ego. Speaking of ego, things to look for when you're looking for a spiritual teacher. Things you don't want to look for when you're looking for a spiritual teacher. You want your spiritual teacher or your spiritual guru or your spiritual guide. First things first, you don't want him to be overly emotional about things. Um, you want him to have a sound mind and a sound spirit. This is important in all kinds of spiritual work. You need that person to be aware of his surrounding. You don't want the kind of guy that's kind of have like that kind of has this tendency to you know feel be on the defensive all the time, because the first sign that you're gonna get double crossed is when a person is nervous explaining how he does things. So when you're gonna get double crossed, when you're gonna get double crossed, you're gonna talk to somebody. You're gonna talk to that person that's offering you the service, and if you ask him questions, he's gonna be like, "What, you doubt what I do? I do this. I've been doing this for 7 years. If you don't like it, leave." That's the kind of person that you're kind of like, "Okay, I'm out." You know what I mean? Like when I see that shit, that's like red flag. It's a red flag because you're kind of like, why are you nervous? Like why can't you answer the questions? Like what's going on here? Where am I? You know, your nervousness is gonna make me nervous, and I'm gonna leave. I'm not gonna do any spiritual work with you because I don't trust you. And most of the time, people that do that are people that's gonna f you over at the end of your ritual, or f you over at the end of whatever you're doing. So you don't want to be involved with people that are overly emotional and that can't explain what exactly they're doing, because there's ways to explain what you're doing without necessarily saying what you're doing. And if you have 7 years of experience, you should have figured that out by now. You know what I mean? Like if you have like 10 years of experience or 20 years of experience, I think it's pretty safe to think that you would have figured a way to explain what you're doing without necessarily saying the things that you don't want to say. So that's a big red flag right there. Um, you definitely don't want to be overpriced. You definitely don't want to be overpriced. Not that I'm saying these rituals are supposed to be cheap, not at all. But you definitely don't want to be overpriced. You definitely want to pay somebody by the amount of experience he has. Definitely. Like if he has like, it starts at 100. Some people might offer certain services for $50, but it usually start at 100. So beginners 100, and the more experience you have, the more valuable your content is gonna be. So if somebody's charging you, and he just started and he's charging you like $500 for a love spell or a money spell or something like that, that might be kind of iffy. It might be kind of weird. It might also turn out. But you have to do a little bit of research. You got to have a little bit of discernment for yourself. You know what I mean? Um, me personally, I'm not a beginner, but it wasn't my original business model. So I'm not gonna overcharge people for something that I just started doing. That doesn't make any sense to me. That's why I don't mind giving out free thingamajigs and whatnot. You know, free rituals and things of that matter, free initiations and things of that. I don't really give free rituals, but I give free initiations because there's some people that want to see the magical realm, and some people will charge you for that too, like a paid membership and everything. I'm not saying I'm not gonna do that because me, I want to reunite with my lost family, which are, spiritual beings from, the other realm, the other reality, the fifth dimension. So I'm not offering a paid membership to anybody that's like me. I'm not gonna make you pay to hang around with me. We're gonna go and build a life of our own, which is going to be lucrative and successful. But I'm not. I don't believe in doing that in the case of where I stand in this whole situation called life. But I don't disrespect other people that actually do charge a certain membership in order to, yada yada yada, because it's a business to them. Me, it's about reconnecting with my family. It's not about, business model. I already have a business model that's completely different from the spiritual aspect. But now I'm kind of like, I feel like I'm ready to start charging people for certain specific things because I have experience and my magic is very strong. So I don't mind doing it. But like I said, I do offer free things. So I don't really mind. Um, so you definitely want to do a little bit of research on, because everybody works a little bit differently. So you definitely want to do a little bit of research before following a certain guru or certain spiritual leader or certain spiritual guide. You want to be careful of that. You know, I would definitely watch out for number one. You know, because number one is a big red flag. Number one is a major red flag. Like number two, the overcharging, it might be a red flag, but you might also have found a guy that's really good at what he does, and bada bing, bada boom. It's expensive, but shit, the results are, the results are there. Um, so number one is more, like gauge the guy. If he's like he can't explain what he's doing and he gets like irate from you asking him question and shit, leave immediately. Just take your shit and leave. And anyway, you definitely don't want to be around this guy, because even as you leave, he might be irate because you're leaving, so this motherfucker's way too emotional. Like, he's unbalanced and he's probably doing some bullshit scam, you know what I mean? And he's definitely unbalanced. He ain't there in his whole head, because that motherfucker might attack you, just because you said I'm leaving. You know what I mean? Like, true story. That shit happened to me, man. Like, I've seen some people, you trying to leave, and motherfuckers like, oh, what's your problem? Blah 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 blah. He comes into your face and shit gets into your face and shit. Like, that's just the fuck out of here, man. You know what I mean? This nigga crazy. We are out of here, nigga. Yeah. So you definitely don't want people that are like that. You definitely don't want somebody that indulges in self-validation. What is self-validation? I'm not speaking about the same kind of self-validation that, the everyday sort of self-validation. Um, I'm noticing something with Elmera, and this is the kind of self-validation that I'm speaking of. Like, when you come out of jail and you go to therapy, um, 90% of inmates that go to therapy that want to change their lives indulges in self-validation. What is therapy self-validation? The term self-validation in therapy means that you validate your being by talking about the time you punched this guy in the face, and the time that you robbed this guy in the middle of the street, and things like that. That's self validation, and that's the kind of self validation when you're an inmate and you tell another inmate, self validation. He already knows what you're talking about. If he did therapy, he knows what you're talking about. And 90% of people, good people, like inmates that really want to change their lives and shit like that, but it just comes back. It's like it happens by itself. You know what I mean? Like, because it's something that you're used to, and it's like an anchor. It's what anchors you to earth, right? Your validation through those acts. Because in your mind it was kind of like how you get respect, how people respect you and everything like that. So you always keep those stories, and at some point you might say these things because you might feel uncomfortable in your own skin. And when you start feeling uncomfortable in your own skin, to maintain control of reality, to anchor yourself back to reality, to not lose control, you start indulging in counting those stories, those war stories, and that's called self-validation. It's something that you need to stop doing, because you're more than the guy that you punched last week in the face. You're more than that, you know and we know this. It's just we're used to it. We're used to expressing ourselves that way. We're used to these situations, so it comes back. It's like a flood, right? It's like a flood. It's like this. It's a tidal wave, and it hits you like blam. You know what I mean? It's like I said, it's when you feel uncomfortable, because you might be in a business setting. Everybody's on point. Everybody's on point. Everybody at the business meeting is on point. The clothes, the content, everything. So you start feeling nervous, right? It's not that your shit ain't good or you're not dressed well. You just start feeling nervous because it's not something that you're used to. You're uncomfortable. So you, in your inmate mindset, you start validating yourself by counting these stories to these guys. And some of these guys might be interested in those stories. And you might think like, yeah, good. I regain control. I regain control. That's good. That's good. But in actuality, you're indulging in a vicious, not vicious, but you're indulging in a snake eating its own tail process. You're going back. You're going backwards instead of going forwards. Because the only reason why you're expressing yourself the way you're expressing yourself is because of your uncomfortability. Instead of being like, okay, I'm uncomfortable. This is really fucking weird, but I'm going to try to act civilized. You know what I mean, bro? The best you can, and you'll probably fail miserably. That happens. But the success in that failure is that you didn't give in to your old inmate mindset. So me, that's something I had to learn when I was in therapy, because I didn't notice that I was self-validating. Because dudes in the street self-validate themselves all the time. You smoking a dank, or you're drinking some gin and juice, walking down the street smoking Indo. You know what I mean? And everybody, all the guys are all talking about, I smashed this dude, I stole this thing, yada yada yada, I banged this chick, yada yada yada, blah blah blah, right? It's everyday shit to us. But the thing we don't realize is that we're bigger than that. You know what I mean? We're bigger than, oh, that guy I beat up, oh, the girl I slept with, oh, this and that. That's just self-validation. It's just you trying to prove that you're something when you don't really need to prove that you're something. So Elmira here I feel like he's trying to prove to himself that he's something. Like I make him feel less than a man in some shape or form. I make him feel less than a man for some reason. I don't know what it is. I don't know why he feels uncomfortable dealing with this situation. But I see that he's self-validating a lot. He's talking about fighting. He's talking about I've seen people get shot. He's recently, like, just on his live, he was talking about doing MMA a lot, and he's spoken about MMA before. He's spoken about fighting, and he's calling people bitch niggas, and people might jump him if they turn around and shit like that. So he's self-validating himself because for some unexplained reason, I don't know what it is. I make him feel less than what he truly is. And like I said before, like I'm going to repeat it, I'm not trying to send him a flower. But I don't know this man. I don't know what his capabilities are. I don't know if he's a Mason. I don't know if he got dark voodoo magic powers. I don't know that shit. I have no idea. But for some reason, so I can have my own opinions, but I don't know the guy. I don't know what he does. Shit, I don't even know if he's a good jeweler or not. Maybe he's a bad jeweler. I don't even know. I don't see it. I don't see it because I don't have that kind of experience. You know what I mean? Like only another jeweler could tell you if his shit is good or not. I'm not saying that there should be a investigation on if his jewels are done well or not. I don't know. That's not what I'm saying. What I'm saying is he's coming from a place where I make him feel definite emotions. I make him feel emotions that he doesn't like to feel, emotions that he has felt before with somebody else. Those are emotions that he felt before with somebody else because he's not talking to me. He's not there, bro. Like a lot of you guys think, Elmer is all there, man. He's not all there, bro. Like he's talking to a brick wall right now. And I don't know what that brick wall did to him when he was younger or some shit like that, but it must have been pretty fucking bad, actually. What I mean? To be quite honest, so there's somebody in his life that acts and looks like me that he knew before that did him wrong. And that's the person that he's talking to. That's the person that he's facing. He's not facing me. I don't even exist in his whole renting and this whole bitch ass nigga shit and all the tweets and the memes. I'm not there. If you check out my content, there's a clear disconnect between my content and how he answers to my content. A clear disconnect. It's like he made a video with another guy. He was talking about books and everything, and you read books and shit like that, blah blah. I've never said, I've never said that. That's not true. I've said that a couple times, but I don't base my content on the facts that I read books. I don't base my content off of that fact. He spoke about it a couple times. He spoke about books a couple times, and you're a smart person. He saw that I'm a smart person, and I'm suspecting that he saw that I'm a smart person because he said, you're a guy that read books, and now you think you know everything, and blah blah blah. But I've never alluded to that. And then he did another video. And in that video, he's trying to read. And you can see he even makes fun of himself because he doesn't read that much. And he's making fun of himself in the video saying, oh, this nigga can't read. You can listen to it yourself. He made the joke. He made the joke about himself. Because I would obviously say, nigga, you can't fucking read, bro. I did a video the other day saying, nigga, you can't even fucking read. You trying to diss me and shit like that. You fucking Floyd Mayweather ass nigga. Bro, you can't read and shit like that. And people are like, what you mean he can't read? Dude, he made the joke himself before I even said it. But the thing is, the point that he can't read or he can read or whatever is that's not the point. The point is he felt the need to make a video where he's reading out of a book because I make him feel uncomfortable. I never said, bro, you can't. My videos before wasn't stating that I'm sure that you can't read books and shit. I don't know that sort of things. Those are personal. I don't walk down the street like I don't. Maybe some people can do that, but I can't. I don't have that power. If I see you in the middle of the street, I'm not gonna suspect that you can't read. You know what I mean? I don't know that shit. You know what I mean? Like, I have no idea, bro. Like, I don't, walk around the street and be like, this nigga can't read, this nigga can't read, this nigga can't read. Like, that's not, I don't have that power, bro. Maybe some people out there are capable of looking at people in the face and be like, man, that nigga can read. That nigga's really good at reading. That nigga, I don't know. I don't know how that works. But the thing is, psychologically, without even trying, I'm getting to this guy. Without even trying. So, and I'm not trying to boast here. I'm trying to make a correlation between where I'm saying that I make him feel uncomfortable. There's like memories flooding back to him. Because, like I said before, he didn't have to do a video where he's reading books. Who the fuck asked him? No one, it wasn't me. I didn't say shit about his reading abilities. You know what I mean? I make him feel uncomfortable. And I don't know why. And the thing is, he's making wild assumptions. He thinks I'm some geek that plays video games all day and I've never been in a fight and shit. Like I just said, I was an inmate. I was in jail. I went to therapy. It was a long ass therapy too. It wasn't easy. And I wanted to change and I needed to change because my life was fucking crazy. I was in jail every 2 seconds. You know what I mean? Like, I just turned around and I was in jail. You know what I mean? Bro, it was that bad. It was pretty fucked up. I would blow in the wind. I would whistle and I'd be in jail 2 seconds later. You know what I mean? So it was kind of fucking crazy. I was kind of like, I need this to fucking change. So I went to therapy and I learned a lot in therapy. And jail is not nice. You're surrounded by animals. Niggas are bigger than you. And they might take your lunch money. If you ain't got no survival instinct, you're gonna get your ass torn to pieces. You know what I mean? You're gonna get fucked up. You know what I mean? So it wasn't easy. You know what I mean? It wasn't a great time. And I fought in jails and all that shit. It was fucking crazy. So, but this guy, because I wear makeup, because I wear jewelry and makeup and I pretty myself up and shit like that, because I have the pseudo Shakti energy about me, he thinks I'm some kind of virgin or some shit like that. And I don't care about geeks. You guys are fine. Geeks are awesome. I love geeks. Geeks are badass. You know what I mean? You guys are great. You got a lot of knowledge, and a lot of people can profit off of that knowledge. There's nothing wrong with being a geek. Absolutely nothing wrong with being a geek, bro. I think it's awesome. I think it's incredible the amount of fucking information you can keep in your brain, bro. I wish I was a little bit more like that. Because I have a lot of information in my brain, but it's not at geek level. Geek level is omega shit. Like, you know what I mean? Like, geek level is omega level shit, you know what I mean? So I don't have a problem with geeks. I'm not going to be that guy and be like, this fucking geek, blah, 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 blah. Nah, that's not, I don't do that. That's not me, bro. Like, you can love whatever you want to love. You can enjoy whatever you want to enjoy. If you enjoy playing video games, you enjoy video games. If you enjoy reading books, enjoy reading books. If you enjoy going out with women, fucking enjoy going out with women. If you enjoy, you know what I mean? Like, do what you feel like. Do what thou wilt. Do what thou wilt. Do what you feel like, man. Like, like if you like it, I like it. That's how I feel. If you like what you're doing, then I like what you're doing. Period. You know what I mean? That's how I live my life. Like even a lot of people, I talk about my business, but I have multiple things that I'm capable of. I have multiple talents, so I'm always trying to find like. It's not that some people might come. It might come up off as I'm undecisive. It's not that I'm undecisive. I want you to place yourself in a position that you don't feel like you're gonna feel like going to work tomorrow. You're gonna feel like, okay, this is fun. I want to do this. Let's do this. You know what I mean? And let's do it tomorrow and the next day and the next day and the next day. I want you to feel like that. I don't want you to be bored. So I'm gonna give you like multiple choices. You can do this, you can do that, you can do this, you can do that, and I'm following you everywhere because I love all these things. I just love business. Period. I love business. Period. There's nothing about business that I don't like, except for people ruining entrepreneur's name by stealing money and shit like that. That's a part that I don't like. But apart from that, I love everything about business. So there's no business aspect that you're gonna come up off me and I'm gonna be like, no. I'm gonna say yes to everything. Like I'm gonna say yes to everything. I have this attitude where I'm like, yo, that's fantastic. Let's do it. That's how I see it. So anyway, there's a clear like the reason why I wouldn't choose Elmera as a spiritual guide because he's obviously stuck and hung up on some things in the past, and those things in the past can affect rituals. Like when you have too much trauma that you didn't deal with, or you have too much mental blockages, that's gonna affect your ritual. So I don't want, because when you do a ritual, you definitely want the guy to be like, yo dude, like come to my store, man, like this is good vibes. Like you definitely want a guy like that because he has positive vibes about him. So you definitely, if it doesn't matter if he's gonna do a curse or some shit like that, his vibes are positive. So when your vibe is positive, that means everything you do is gonna be positive. You don't want a guy that gets angry at everything. You don't want a guy that's already angry at you before the ritual got started. That's why I wouldn't do a ritual with. If I was somebody else, I wouldn't do a ritual with El Memory because I can see like, and he's tearing himself down by not being able to express himself correctly, and and that's not my business. That's not my fault. It's just the way that you're reacting to this situation. It's dumbing you down. You're going down notches. And if you're a smart person, you can see all of the notches that he went down from since he started this battle. Like he lost a lot of notches dealing with me, But like I said before, he's not dealing with me anymore. I can see it. I can see it in his content that he's not even talking about me. He's talking about a guy that hurt him. And he was white. He probably was good looking. He was white. He was probably good looking. He was probably good looking. He was white. He was good looking, and he was smart. And probably maybe he was gothic, maybe he was not. I don't know. But the person that pisses him off is a person that I remind him of, and it shows. Because I think if I was someone else, he would have dealt with this situation a lot better than this. That's what I think. I think if I looked a certain way and if I acted a different way and I looked a different way, he would have reacted completely differently. He probably would have steamrolled me or some shit like that. if I wasn't that archetype that I represent in his life, because I'm an archetype in his life, and I'm an archetype that he does not like in his life. Obviously, that's obvious. Like I can see that I'm an archetype that he's already dealt with in the past, and he did not like dealing with that guy. You know what I mean? Like at all, bro. So I know he's still being disrespectful, and I know I'm being respectful right now. He might not take it that way, and that's fine because I'm not trying to be that respectful either. Because he's super disrespectful right now, and there's no real reason for him to be like super disrespectful. Like you had a chance to prove your greatness, you didn't take it. That's all on you. That's not me that's doing that. That's you. You did not respond the way you were supposed to respond. That is not my fault. I can't make you respond in a way that you're gonna look good. I can't really. I mean, I could, but I don't know you. You know what I mean? Like I don't really know you, so I can't really do that. You know what I mean? So, like I said before, the guy's psychology is because psychology. The thing about psychology is you might think psychology has nothing to do with magic, but Lucifer is the grandfather of psychology. The only reason why we have psychology is thanks to Lucifer and his angel and his demons or demigods or gods, however you want to call it. Because angels are actually gods. But you know, that comes from them. So you might think psychology has nothing to do with magic, but it has everything to do with magic. The better your logical thinking, the better your brain pattern are, the more clairvoyant you can become. Because you have to be, the thing about making the difference between what's real and unreal is your psychology. The more you know that you're not crazy, the more you'll probably end up seeing behind the veil. Or if you are aware that there is a veil over your eyes, the more you know that you're not crazy, the more you can see into the veil. Like this El Mera thing, like he's taking things personal, which is fine. 50-50, because I don't know him. And I can see behind his veil. I can see that I'm not even part of this situation anymore. I can see that I'm not even, he's basically fighting a ghost. He's fighting a ghost of the past or something. And it's interesting, because me myself, I overestimated his strength. I overestimated it because I thought that he was gonna hit me with a couple of shots where I was gonna be like, oh shit, this guy might be for real and shit. I was like, oh damn. You know what I mean? And this has not happened. He has been on the defensive this entire battle. On the defensive, on the defensive, on the defensive. He's imagining problems where there's no problems. He's talking about the jewelry. You're deviating the question. The question is, are you a king? Are you a spiritual king? Yes or no? This is not about my jewelry. He made it about jewelry for at least 5 videos. More than 6, 7. And then he had this section, this part where he's talking about the reading, the intellectualism. I didn't ask you about your intellectualism. Are you a spiritual king? Yes or no? Now he's talking about fighting. I didn't ask you about how you fight people in the streets. I asked you, are you a spiritual king, yes or no? He had a period, he started off being sarcastic, saying he doesn't do black magic. I'm asking you, are you a spiritual king, yes or no? Oh, I don't practice black magic. I don't do da. 2, 3 videos in a row. I don't do black magic. I don't do black magic. I don't do black magic. Are you an exalted? Are you a chosen one? Yes or no? It's an easy question. Of course, I didn't ask it exactly like that, you know, obviously, but that was the purpose of the video. I can ask you that question however the fuck I want to ask it to you. I don't know you. You live like 3 billion miles away. I don't fucking care, man. You know what I mean? I can ask you, and you coming after one of my friends. Like, of course I'm gonna be like, who the fuck is this guy? And I need to know, and I'm not stupid either, man. Like I know EA from his website and everything, his content and everything. So I'm not stupid either. I'm not like 100% enamored with him and shit like that. Like EA could be the bad guy in this situation, and that guy could have been the good guy in this situation. But I don't know that. And as of right now, EA is still the good guy in the situation because this guy can't prove who he is. I'm still number one because you can't do the things that you said you was gonna do to me, and I'm better than you. you know, like I don't want to be disrespectful. I don't want to say it like that. I don't want to sound it like I don't want to sound like a jerk. But it's just psychologically. You said you were gonna tear me down psychologically. In truth, if people are capable of being like, let's say, everybody that's watching this battle happen. In truth, you can't tell me that this guy broke me down psychologically. That's just insane. Anybody that would say that needs some fucking medicine. You know what I mean, bro? Like, you legit need some fucking medicine because he's not capable of doing that. He tried, but at the end, he's the one that got angry and be like, "Oh, I'm saying this because I tried to break you down in order to blah 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 blah." You said you ended up saying what your game plan was, and you got pissed off because the game plan's not working because you're sounding crazy. And that game plan would work if it was done properly and efficiently. And it wasn't done efficiently. It wasn't done properly. It was all over the place. It was nonsense. And you can't go after somebody that's cerebral like me, that's a mental surgeon. You know what I mean? That's a psychological surgeon like I am with bullshit like that. It's not gonna work. You gotta have to come harder. You're gonna have to you're gonna have to do better. And so that's out of them. So magically, if we're looking at the state of things right now, you the only one complaining about some fucking hardcore shit for some fucking reason, which I find it kind of weird. But then again, there's somebody that said that he always ranting, I kind of believe that might be the case, but I also believe that the reason why he's ranting is because those things are happening to him. Because I remember, like, when I started my YouTube channel, I was ranting a lot. Like, and the things I was ranting was things that I was going through. So I was like expressing myself. I was like venting rage through my YouTube channel. You know what I mean? Like, it was therapeutic in some shape or form, right? So I feel like that shit's going on with him right now. Like, it's like the Roy story. I think that's some shit that happened recently. You know what I mean? Like, and he said that it was recent. Even in his interview with the other guy, I don't know his name, but he did an interview with another guy, and he was talking about something that shit. He said something that happened to him because he posted a picture of me, but it was a picture of a monkey. And he said in the interview that it happened to him recently. He pulled up at a Dunkin' Donut, and then somebody in a car next to him pulled out the window, and he saw the face of a monkey. So, you know what I mean? So your guy, your man's in him, is not as powerful as you think he is. He's not, it's mostly like sensationalism. He's a YouTube star. He's a YouTuber. He does things for clout. The more clout he has, the better it is for him. You know, I mean, he just said it in his last interview. Um, what did he say again? He just did a live, and he was talking about fighting. He was talking about fighting a lot. Um, anyway, I forgot. It happens, but he does things for clout. He's a clout chaser. You know, and your man's in the. Oh yeah, that's what he said. So basically, he said like he doesn't do rituals by himself. He doesn't do any rituals by himself. So in the shit that you're practicing, so you don't. I mean, he doesn't practice at home, I guess. Somebody mentioned that he removed his altar. He removed the comment section on the live. But if you check out the video, I don't know if it works by time. I don't know, because like he removed the chat at some point in the video, but the chat was up before that, and there's somebody in the chat that said, "Yo, why'd you remove?" He asked him a question: "Why'd you remove your altar in your house?" He didn't answer. And then a couple minutes after that, the chat was off. I'm not saying that's related. I just saw it, in there, and it was about the same time he was saying that, he doesn't practice magic himself by himself. So your man's is not, and there's a lot of inconsistencies in his shit. There's a lot of inconsistency. The whole vapor that he has talking about fighting, trying to self-validate himself because he is in an uncomfortable situation that he put himself in by opening his mouth and laughing at people, and we don't know why you're laughing at people, and you can't explain why you're laughing at the guy, and now you're in an uncomfortable position. But these are all things that he tried to reverse psychology that shit towards me. So a lot of his mans, a lot of his peoples, himself included, are trying to make me look like I'm weak-minded, when that's obviously not the case. They're trying to make me look like I'm the fake magician or some shit like that. They're trying to make me look like I'm this and that and this and that. I'm this nigga that can't defend himself, can't fire some whatever. I don't know. Whatever the fuck they're saying over there is whatever floats their boat. So they're trying a lot of insulting, and they're not actually giving real content. Because let's face it, as of recently, most of the content that he spewed out was content that he was trying to reverse what I was saying in my video. So there's a lot of inconsistencies for a spiritual, because people call you king, son. They call you king. You call yourself a king. You act like you're the king. You act like you're the shit. You act like this. You act like that. But the way you act does not correspond with what you do. Because a king wouldn't do the shit that you're doing. I mean, you're calling somebody a novice, and you're seeing things coming back to you. But you call this guy a novice. Why are you calling this guy a novice? You don't know if I'm a novice or not. You have no idea. You don't know me. You didn't even ask. You never asked the question. It's like I said in my other video. When you ask Conor McGregor, yo, what you gonna do tonight? Tonight, I'm gonna fucking win. And then I'm gonna go to the pub and have a Guinness and with all of my friends, and they're all gonna be happy because I'm the best, because I'm the king, because I own UFC. I would have told you some shit like that if you had asked me the question. You know, not necessarily with the same kind of energy, but that's more or less what it would sound like. I would have had expected the same thing from you, but you never did. Till this day, you don't have one video where you're swagged out. You don't have one video where you're prolificating yourself, because that's what it called. That's called prolificating. Prolification, if I'm saying that correctly. Proliferation. Anyway, you know what I mean. You know what I mean, bro? Like when you exalt yourself to that plateau. You haven't exalted yourself to that plateau. And quite frankly, I understand why you can't exalt yourself to that plateau, because I destroyed you psychologically. So you already know in your heart that you're not that high on that scale. And that's also the reason why you're indulging yourself in self-validation, where you're indulging yourself in stories of violence, where you're indulging yourself in stories of violence because you think that I cannot reach you on that level. You think that that's a level where, you know, it's just not my world and I don't know shit about it. You know what I mean? And if you keep going that route, you're going to end up knowing that that's not the case either. I'm the king. And you know it. Sorry. Didn't mean to burst your bubble. But you burst your own bubble yourself anyway, so I didn't even need to do anything. You burst your own bubble. I didn't even need to do shit. I barely talked about you, to be quite honest. I barely did. Like, you did like a bunch of videos about me, bro. It's fucking crazy, man. I barely said shit. I just made 2-3 videos, like, you know, a couple videos here and there, you know. Like, I think this is a grand total of 6 videos that I made about you. You made like Facebook posts, this and that and this and that. You did a lot of shit. You spent a lot of energy. You went in and did some ritual, and you got some Facebook posts and all kinds of shit. You wasted a lot of energy. A lot of energy, bro. I was just sitting back looking at you. Like, look at this guy. I was just sitting back looking, you know. I knew he was gonna tire out, you know. Well, I didn't know he was gonna tire out, because somewhere in the back of my mind I was kind of like, yo, this guy might be for real, you know. You know, like, somewhere in the back of my mind I was kind of like, yo, this guy might be for real. I might have overstepped my boundaries there for 2 seconds, but, you know, apparently that's not the case, you know. Apparently, that's not the case because you can't come out of this. You can't swim out of this hole that you dug yourself into. And I can choose to stop making videos about you, which you probably would like me to do. If I was in your shoes, that's what I would prefer. You know what I mean? But if we keep going, man, I'm just gonna keep tearing you down, like piece by piece, bro. And I don't necessarily want to do that, even though I'm enjoying it. But it's mean spirited, and I'm not a mean spirited person. But I do enjoy this. Like, I do enjoy breaking you down slowly. Like, I am having a little bit of fun with this, but it's not something I necessarily want to do. It's not something I necessarily want to do, man. Like, like you can take it however you want to take it, but all I'm saying is, that I can keep going, and I don't think you necessarily want that. You know what I mean? Like, I wouldn't want that. I wouldn't want somebody to, like, break me psychologically until I just look like a piece of shit. You know what I mean? Like that's like the last thing I want for me to happen. And when you treat others like you want to be treated. So if I treat you like that, that's gonna give the opening to somebody else to come around and fuck me over and shit like that. Like I did you. So so I don't want that to happen. You know what I mean? So for my own sake, I hope at some point you kind of like, I hope you give up, man. Like, for my own sake, I hope you give up. Because that shit, whatever I'm doing to you is mean. And it's going to come back to me because I'm being very vicious. Like, it's just, I'm being polite as I'm vicious. Like I'm eating you with a spoon and a fork, with a fork and a butter knife. I'm not hacking at you with a hatchet. You know what I mean? So, but that's part of my persona. It's not that I want to be mean spirited or some shit like that. It's just part of my persona. Me, I would try to, stop me from doing that. Because in a polite fashion. Because you're acting like you're some great king, some great spiritual leader, some great spiritual this and that, and you don't even do your own rituals by yourself. You said it yourself. You don't do your rituals by yourself. You don't read that well. You spend your time on Facebook and Instagram posting pictures of people. You know what I mean, bro? Like, now you're talking about fighting, like you're trying to be violent because you think I can't. I'm not of that world, and bro, you're killing yourself, man. Like, stop this senseless killing, bro. Like, you're killing yourself, bro. Like, you're killing yourself. Oh, man. Like, it's not even, I'm not even doing it, bro. I'm a little bit doing it, and I've warned you before, but you didn't want to listen. You judge people on the cover. You judge books by their covers. You don't listen when people talk. And that's the problem. I listen when people talk. I listen. I pay a lot of attention to what people say, because sometimes people, you got to be able to read between the lines, and sometimes people will tell you things and that's not really what they mean. So to not be like, so not like jump off the bridge when somebody tells you something, you got to like really listen to the underlying tone of what the person's actually trying to say. But you don't do that. You take things at face value, which brings you trouble in your life a lot. And I'm sure it does, because you take everything at face value. You think everything is real. You're a 3D person. You're um higher level 3D person. That's what I can differ from you. You're a higher level than some other 3D people. Some, but you're also on the same level as a lot of higher level 3D people. So you're not exceptional, but you're not the worst either. I've seen worse. But you're not on that level. You're not even on my level. So you know what I mean? You're not even on my level. So anyways, have fun with that, man. So, like I said before, watch out for people that act in these certain fashions, because they'll bring that energy into your energy. They'll bring that vibe into your ritual, and the vibe is gonna happen as it happens for them too. So you want to anyway, you want to have somebody that's positive, somebody that brings positivity, somebody that's going to bring change in your life, and positive changes in your life, not negative changes. And sometimes it might work too, even if the person's negative. Sometimes the ritual might might just goddamn work. But if you're somebody that you tend to use repetitively, you don't want to deal with someone like that. You want to find somebody that's more positive, more grounded, or higher. It depends on how your perspective on things are, because for some people, grounded means you're elevated to a higher level, and for some people, being high means you're just not there, or you're too grounded, more or less. You're grounded emotionally to things. Somebody that's too high, that's negatively too high, is somebody that's emotionally grounded to things. That's why they're erratic, and everything is difficult. Anyways, so this video is too damn long. I see you guys in the next one, man. Peace out.